My name is Elena Cross. I'm 28 years old.
I was wiping down this kitchen counter after dinner when Ryan laughed softly and said the sentence that would haunt me later.
Babe, you're being paranoid again.
He said it casually, affectionately even, leaning against the doorway with his sleeves rolled up. We'd been together 2 years, living together for 8 months, long enough that his voice felt like home, long enough that I trusted it without question. Why would I delete emails from your drafts? He continued, shaking his head like the idea was absurd. Me? I stared at the sink, at my reflection in the chrome faucet. Because the job application disappeared, I said quietly. The one from Meridian Tech. Ryan sighed, dramatic but gentle. You probably forgot to save it.
I turned to face him. I didn't.
He crossed the room and touched my cheek, thumb brushing my skin the way he always did when he wanted to calm me. Elena, you're overthinking. I'd never hurt you.
There it was, the phrase that always worked. Except it hadn't just been Meridian Tech. There was the marketing director position, the startup opportunity, the remote consulting role that promised flexibility and growth. All gone.
What other applications? Ryan asked, brows knitting together in concern.
I listed them. He listened patiently, then smiled that soft, reassuring smile.
Sweetheart, you're stressed.
People forget things when they're overwhelmed. It happens.
Classic Ryan. Warm voice, caring eyes, logic wrapped around doubt like silk.
For months, strange things had been happening. Calendar reminders vanishing. Interview confirmations never arriving. Important emails quietly landing in my trash.
Every time Ryan had an explanation. Reasonable, loving.
You're tired.
You're burnt out. Maybe you need stability instead of chasing everything.
Stability. That word again.
Meanwhile, his career was soaring. Promotions, networking events, late dinners celebrating wins. We can't both be climbing at once, he'd joked once. Relationships need balance. That night, he left for the gym and forgot his tablet on the couch.
The screen was still on. Normally, I would have turned it off. Privacy mattered. Trust mattered. But my heart stopped when I saw the browser tab. Gmail. Not his. Mine. My hands shook as I checked the hallway clock. 90 minutes. He wouldn't be back soon. I sat down slowly, like my body already knew what my mind was afraid to confirm. Inbox. Clean. Sent. Normal. Draft. Empty. Then I clicked trash. My breath left my body. Dozens of emails stared back at me. Interview invitations. Follow-ups. Second-round confirmations. All deleted within hours of arrival. I scrolled and scrolled. There it was, Meridian Tech. We were impressed with your portfolio. We'd love to schedule an interview. My hands started shaking. Then I noticed something worse. Back and sent. Emails I never wrote. Thank you for the opportunity, but I've decided to withdraw my application. I won't be moving forward at this time. Someone had been speaking in my name. For months. I raised my phone and started taking pictures. Evidence. Proof. Then another tab caught my eye. Ryan's email. Still open. I shouldn't have clicked. I did.
Subject line, Operation Keep Her Stable.
My stomach dropped.
I didn't know yet that the worst part wasn't the sabotage. It was realizing the person I loved had been watching me doubt myself and choosing to let me believe I was broken. I stared at the screen, my pulse thundering in my ears. Operation Keep Her Stable.
The words looked almost playful, like an inside joke, like something harmless. My fingers hovered over the mouse, every instinct screaming at me to stop.
I didn't.
The email thread opened. It was between Ryan and a woman named Claire.
His ex-girlfriend.
I recognized her immediately, not from photos, but from the way he talked about her. Intense. Insecure. Too controlling. The relationship he swore had taught him what not to do. Apparently, he'd learned very well. Ryan, it's working. She deleted another application today without even realizing it. She keeps apologizing for forgetting things. It's kind of scary how fast her confidence is slipping. My vision blurred.
Deleted without realizing it?
I scrolled. Claire, you're playing a dangerous game. Ryan, I know, but it's necessary. If she gets one of these offers, she'll leave. Or worse, start thinking she's better than me.
I just need her stable, local, dependent.
Dependent. The word felt like a slap.
My throat tightened as I kept reading, every line peeling away another layer of the man I thought I knew.
Claire, you sound just like you did with me. Ryan, this is different. Elena's gentle. She trusts me. I just have to keep her from self-destructing. Self-destructing.
By applying for jobs. Another message loaded automatically, time-stamped just 3 days earlier.
Ryan, turned down a $90K remote offer for her today. She'll never know what she missed. She keeps saying she feels off, like she's losing her edge. Honestly, that might be the best part. She's easier to manage when she doubts herself. I covered my mouth to keep from making a sound. 2 years. 2 years of whispered reassurances, of forehead kisses, of, "You're overthinking, baby." Claire replied with a laughing emoji. "Claire, you're savage, but smart." My ex got promoted once and suddenly thought he didn't need me. Never again. Keep her humble. Humble. I sat back, my entire body numb. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't fear. This was strategy. I scrolled further, my hands moving on autopilot. More emails, more confirmation. She almost found out today. Good thing I convinced her it was stress. Another few months and she'll stop trying altogether. I looked around the living room, the couch we picked together, the photos on the shelf, the throw blanket he bought me when I had the flu. All of it felt staged, like a set built around a lie. The front door unlocked. I froze. Footsteps. I slammed the tablet shut, my heart racing, and placed it back exactly where it had been. Ryan walked in, gym bag slung over his shoulder, smiling. "Hey," he said easily. "Class ended early." He frowned slightly when he saw my face. "You okay? You look pale." I swallowed hard. "Just tired." He stepped closer, brushed my hair back. "Maybe you should take a break from job hunting," he said softly. "It's clearly stressing you out." The audacity of it almost took my breath away. I nodded. "You're right, I've been overthinking." Relief flickered across his face. Satisfaction. "See," he said, smiling. "I told you I'd never hurt you." That night, I lay next to him, staring at the ceiling, while his arm rested across my waist like a claim. I didn't confront him, because I knew exactly what would happen. He'd deny it, delete the evidence, cry, flip the script. No. If Ryan wanted me small and confused, I'd let him believe he'd already won. The next morning, he left for work. I called in sick. And for the first time in 2 years, I stopped doubting myself. I started collecting proof. First, I changed my passwords. Slowly, subtly. Enabled two-factor authentication. Set recovery emails to an account he didn't know existed. Then I logged into my email properly. The damage was worse than I thought. Recruiter messages deleted. LinkedIn connections removed. An MBA scholarship opportunity rejected in my name. He hadn't just stalled my career. He'd erased it. I downloaded everything. Timestamps, IP addresses, headers, built a spreadsheet, screenshots, folders, backups. Evidence doesn't argue. It doesn't gaslight. It just sits there, waiting. Then I got creative. I set filters. Any job-related email now auto-forwarded to a new inbox. Ryan could keep deleting. I'd still see everything. That evening, he called me from work. "How are you feeling, babe?" "Still sick," I said sweetly. "Good. Rest up. Remember, health is more important than work." He came home with soup, kissed my forehead, played the perfect boyfriend. "I was thinking," he said casually over dinner, "maybe you should pause the job search. Focus on wellness." I smiled. "You might be right." His eyes lit up. "Really?" "Yeah, maybe freelancing later. Something flexible." His smile faltered, just for a second. "That's risky," he said quickly. "What about stability?" I nodded. "You're right. Forget I said anything." Relief washed over him. "Good," he said. "Stability is sexy." That night, while he slept peacefully beside me, I lay awake scrolling through my new inbox. Interview requests. Interest. Opportunity. Turns out I was highly employable when someone wasn't actively destroying my future. I wasn't paranoid. I was being controlled. And now I was done being small. Ryan loved this version of me. The quieter one. The agreeable one. The woman who stopped asking questions and started apologizing for having dreams. He watched me closely over the next few days, like a warden checking on an inmate who'd finally learned the rules. "How was therapy?" he asked one evening, handing me a glass of water. "Helpful," I said. "The therapist thinks my anxiety comes from wanting too much." He smiled, satisfied. "Sounds right." He didn't know the therapy office was actually a co-working space downtown where I sat with noise-canceling headphones, answering recruiter calls, and preparing for interviews. I documented everything. Every reassurance, every "you're overthinking," every time he framed control as concern. I even recorded our conversations, legal, quiet, undeniable. Ryan didn't notice the change right away, but confidence is loud, even when you try to keep it silent. I stopped apologizing as much. I stood straighter. I smiled without asking permission. He noticed. One night I came home later than usual. "You've been going out a lot," he said lightly, eyes sharp. "Therapy must be really working." I laughed. "Is that a bad thing?" He kissed my cheek. "Of course not. I just worry about you." There it was again. Worry, concern, love, weaponized. A few days later, he found me working on my laptop.
Oh, he said casually, using your computer today? I met his eyes. Yeah, why? No reason, he shrugged. Mine's updating. He sat beside me, too close, glancing at the screen. I'd anticipated this. What he saw was a dummy calendar. Fake therapy appointments, yoga classes, journaling sessions. What he didn't see was my real schedule. Hidden, encrypted, backed up twice. Still, suspicion lingered. That night, he curled into me, unusually affectionate. Red flag. Ryan only got clingy when he felt control slipping. I've been thinking, he said softly, what if we synced our calendars? Couples who share everything stay together. My stomach clenched. That feels invasive, I said carefully. He pulled back, wounded. I thought you wanted transparency, unless you're hiding something? Projection. I forced a smile. You're right, let's sync. I gave him access to the fake one. He relaxed instantly. Friday came. The final interview. Meridian Tech, the same company whose opportunity he'd buried months ago. They'd reposted the role after turnover. This time I was ready. I told Ryan I had an extended therapy session. He kissed my forehead, told me he was proud of me for working on myself. I nailed the interview. An hour later, they made the offer. $110,000. Remote. Full benefits. Growth track. I sat in my car afterward, hands trembling, tears streaming down my face. This was the life he'd tried to erase. My phone rang. Ryan. Hey, he said. Your therapist's office called. You missed your appointment. My blood ran cold. You checked up on me? I was worried, he said quickly. You've been acting strange. I pulled into a coffee shop, heart pounding. I'm fine, I said, heading home soon. I'm tracking your phone, he added gently. You're not at a therapist's office. Silence stretched between us. You're tracking me? I whispered. I had to, he said. You've been paranoid. I needed to protect you from yourself. There it was. Control, fully unmasked. When I got home, he was pacing the living room, tablet in hand. My tablet. Care to explain, he said tightly, why you have interview confirmations in your browser history? I took a breath. I thought you supported my career. I do, he snapped. Just not like this, sneaking around, lying. Like you've been lying? I said calmly. His eyes darkened. You're overthinking. I smiled. I interviewed at Meridian Tech today. The color drained from his face. That company? He whispered. The one you rejected for me? I continued. Or the one you deleted? He froze. I don't know what you're talking about, he said weakly. Check your sent folder, March 15th. He exploded. You went through my email? No, I said softly. You went through mine for 2 years. Silence. Then the truth, finally slipping through the cracks. I was protecting us, he said hoarsely. Those jobs would have changed you, made you think you were better than me. I met his gaze. So you made sure I never found out. His voice broke. It worked, didn't it? We were happy. You were happy, I said. I started packing. He followed me from room to room. Apologies, accusations, tears. You can't leave, he snapped. I made you. Without me, you'd be nothing. I zipped my bag. Without you, I said evenly, I'd already be at Meridian. That night, the apartment felt smaller. Every photo on the wall, every throw pillow, every framed memory suddenly looked like a set piece in a play I hadn't auditioned for. Ryan was following me, pacing, trying to speak between sobs and accusations. I'm sorry, he began, voice trembling. I didn't mean... I know exactly what you meant, I interrupted, setting my suitcase down by the door. I have the emails, the timestamps, the evidence of every single opportunity you deleted, every interview you canceled in my name, every time you made me doubt myself. His face went pale, then twisted into anger. You went through my emails? My privacy? I shook my head slowly. No, you went through mine for 2 years. He took a step back, running a hand through his hair. It was for us. I couldn't risk losing you. I was afraid you'd leave, afraid you'd surpass me. You didn't need all that stress. I was keeping you safe. The words felt hollow. I could almost see the web he had spun around me. Safety, concern, love, all turned into chains. Safe? I laughed bitterly. You call this safe? You stole my life. You erased my achievements. You decided for me, every single day, what I could have. And now you try to dress it as love? He flinched, but tried to hold his composure. Elena, please. I did it because I loved you. I thought you'd never forgive me if I didn't. Forgive you? I interrupted again, my voice cold, deliberate. You want me to forgive you for sabotaging me, for gaslighting me, for controlling me? He started to plead, but his words faltered. The dam had broken. I picked up the tablet I'd been using secretly. Look at this. Read everything. The operation emails with Claire, the notes about keeping me stable, the congratulatory messages for my failures. Every attempt to erase my independence, every single one. He leaned in, trying to snatch it from me, but I held it steady. He could see the truth. And now there was no spinning it. I thought I was protecting us, he whispered, tears in his eyes. I didn't want to lose you. You already lost me the day you sent the first fake rejection, I said, my voice shaking with anger and grief. And now you're lucky I'm even standing here talking to you instead of walking out that door forever. He collapsed onto the couch, silent for a moment, then tried another tactic, bargaining. Elena, I can fix this. I can change. No, I said, cutting him off. You can't. This isn't about changing. It's about the fact that you thought it was okay to control my life, to manipulate me while pretending to love me. That's not love. That's possession. And I am not yours. I zipped my suitcase, ready to leave. He scrambled after me, alternating between apologies, anger, and desperate pleas. You can't leave, he shouted. Without me, you'll have nothing. I stopped at the door, breathing deeply. Without you, I'll have my life, my career, my freedom, and I'll finally get to see how far I can go when I'm not being sabotaged by someone who claims to love me. He sank to the floor, chest heaving. Tears streamed down his face as I walked out. That night I stayed at my sister's apartment, alone but free. The text started almost immediately. Hour 1, apologies. Hour 2, love bombing. Hours 4 to 6, rage. Hours 7 to 12, threats. Day 2, you'll never find someone who loves you like I do. Day 3, I'm pregnant. She wasn't. Or he wasn't, in this case. I had to correct mentally for the gender swap. Day 4, I'll ruin your new job. I didn't reply. I didn't engage. I prepared. By morning, I had forwarded a professional, factual email to Meridian Tech's HR. I recently discovered that my ex-boyfriend previously sabotaged my application by accessing my email without authorization. I have documentation if needed. I have since secured my accounts and wanted to ensure transparency as I start this role. Their reply was immediate and supportive. They appreciated my honesty and ensured my accounts were fully secured. Ryan, however, didn't stop. He tried calling, leaving messages claiming I was mentally unstable and prone to paranoia. But his attempts backfired spectacularly. HR had my disclosure email. I had proof. Suddenly, the narrative flipped. The manipulator looked like the stalker ex trying to sabotage my career. And for the first time in years, I felt the weight lift. The cage of his control was gone. Freedom didn't arrive like fireworks. It arrived quietly. In the mornings, when I woke up and didn't feel dread tightening my chest. In the evenings, when my phone stayed silent and no one questioned where I'd been. In the relief of knowing that nothing I wanted was being erased behind my back. Ryan's spiral was predictable. First came the apologies again. Long paragraphs about regret, childhood trauma, how he lost himself because he loved me too much. Then anger, then blame. You pushed me to do it. You were never satisfied. You made me feel small. The irony would have been funny if it hadn't cost me 2 years of my life. He tried one last tactic, calling Meridian Tech directly. He told them I was unstable, paranoid, delusional, that I imagined conspiracies, that I had a history of episodes. HR didn't even flinch. They already had my email. They already had my documentation. They already had his number flagged. To them, he wasn't a concerned partner. He was exactly what he was, a former boyfriend trying to sabotage a woman he could no longer control. They blocked him. That's when he posted online. Vague posts about narcissistic exes, about women who can't handle strong men, about betrayal and abandonment. At first, people rallied around him, until they asked me what happened. I didn't post publicly. I didn't rant. I didn't explain. I shared the evidence, privately, calmly, selectively. Screenshots, timestamps, emails, the Operation Keep Her Stable thread. One by one, people went quiet. Some apologized, some disappeared. Some reached out with shaken voices and familiar stories. Turns out Claire, the ex, had given the same advice to her friends. Don't let him outgrow you. Keep him humble. Stability over ambition. Patterns have a way of surfacing when someone finally shines a light on them. Meanwhile, my life expanded rapidly once no one was shrinking it. Meridian Tech was everything I'd hoped for, and more. Within 4 months, I was promoted. I moved into a sunlit apartment with plants I kept alive and furniture no one criticized. I started therapy again, real therapy, to untangle the damage of being told my instincts were wrong for so long.
Gaslighting leaves scars. It teaches you to distrust your memory, your intuition, your worth. Healing meant relearning how to trust myself. Ryan struggled.
Mutual friends said he couldn't keep relationships, that women, mysteriously, found out about his behavior, that his charm wore thin faster each time.
Word spreads. Last month, I received a LinkedIn message from him. Congrats on the promotion. I always knew you had potential.
I stared at the screen for a long time.
The audacity.
He didn't nurture that potential. He didn't support it. He actively buried it.
I didn't reply. I screenshotted it, added it to the folder, just in case. Looking back, the red flags were never subtle.
The casual dismissal of my dreams, the constant push for stability, which was really stagnation. The way opportunities vanished while reassurance multiplied.
You're overthinking. I'd never hurt you.
Gaslighting 101.
Make someone doubt their reality long enough, and they'll stop trusting themselves entirely. But evidence doesn't lie. Timestamps don't lie. Deleted emails don't lie.
Ryan was right about one thing.
I was overthinking.
I was overthinking why I kept failing. Overthinking what was wrong with me. Overthinking everything, except the possibility that someone who claimed to love me was actively destroying my future.
Now, I don't overthink. I verify. I document. I protect myself. And when someone smiles softly and says, "You're overthinking it. I'd never hurt you,"
I think exactly hard enough to prove them.